Good afternoon. Right now, it's just past 1 o'clock right here in Lamar, Texas, and we have a special treat. We're going to have Tim Storey as a guest on KHEA Radio. I'm going to kick this on the FM, but if you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and share this out. If you're going back and listening on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and share it. Text it to a friend. Here we go. Good morning, this is KHEA Radio, and it's not even the morning. I'm usually on in the morning, so it's the afternoon right now, but it is the morning in California where we have our guest coming from. I have Tim Storey here on air. You know, Tim, how's it going? What's up, man?
Hey, I'm talking to a family friend.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well in the midst of a very strange time, right? Isn't that so true?
Yeah. So you're coming from California right now, right?
Yeah, so here's a weird thing about this whole thing is that obviously when it first hit, none of us had faced anything like this before. So you try to find your way through it, and try to work through the guidelines of what you should do, shouldn't do. But in the midst of that, what I'm finding is the last couple of weeks has allowed me to really do a lot of resting, a lot of resetting, and getting into a creative space and creating some nice things that I think will help some people. So, God's grace is sufficient. So we take it step by step.
Yeah. So where are you specifically at? And you have a church out there, right?
Yeah. So I lived in like the Hollywood area forever, for many, many years, but now I'm more in like Orange County, which is not too far from Disneyland. And I don't know what the weather is out there today, but the weather here has been just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Kind of like mid 70s, high 70s. But here's something we have that you guys don't have too much is we have a super nice breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been nice.
Are people allowed to go to the beach? What's the government stance on everything? Kind of just stay at home and chill?
Well, it's been a total quarantine, which was totally great with. And then the last week, it's changing a little bit. And so I was walking by the beach the other day and noticed that, you could go on, but there has to be social distancing. And so, people are trying to get back to normalcy. So it's a step-by-step process.
All right. So before all of this lockdown and pandemic, the state of the world today happened, I mean, you are a public speaker. You speak all over the world. You were at Grant Cardone's 10X conference, and that was like kind of right before things started to shift. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so for all of us, including yourself, you're creative, and me and you have always been friends. I love what you've done, even in the area of clothes and shoes and just everything that you're about. I really do appreciate. So I'm a creative, so I'm in the creative space. I'm working on several television shows, and that has been interesting because we've got the green light on the shows, but now we can't tape them because of COVID-19. And then I'm working on a really cool project with AMC Theaters right now, where I'm doing a project with them for 1,300 theaters, but that looks like that's probably going to be on pace. So I think that one of the things that I had to learn is this whole idea of faith and patience. So, because me behind the scenes, I like to work hard. So, it's strange in life. Sometimes you can get to like, boom, 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 right there. You think the thing's going to happen, and then you got to wait a little longer. So I think we're all there, but I think we're going to be okay. Just being patient.
Yeah, so things have been put on hold, but that has also given you time to refresh. Do you have any new ideas, anything that you can leak, or anything that you've been able to work on, I guess, on yourself or help others?
Yeah, we've been doing this thing that it's kind of cool. I was just sitting on my couch one day, and I've been really into this Michael Jordan
The Last
thing
Dance
that they did on ESPN, The Last Dance, like holy schmoly, right?
Yeah.
And so I was literally watching a promo on it, because at that point it had not come on. And I started thinking, I want to do something from my house. I told my son, I said, watch how cool this is. we're going to create something from the house that is going to touch a lot of people. And so I created this Tim Story live on Sunday nights. It's 6 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook. And so I went after some of my friends. I went after Randy Jackson from American Idol. He got on, guys that you know, because I know you love the space. People like Joel Marion. I threw him on. I put on Grant Cardone. He was on last week. Deepak Chopra, put him on. Ricky Lake, good friend of mine, talk show lady. Coming up next week, we got Dog the Bounty Hunter. Put on Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack Osbourne. And the thing just blew up. So we're averaging a real 150,000 people that actually watch.
Wow, yeah.
Not that are just pushing the button, because we're getting as high as 500,000 reaches, but 150,000 people are watching this. And so now I got interest from 3 different groups to turn this into a show, which it looks like we're going to do. So it's called Tim Story Live on Sunday nights, conversations that matter.
And where can people watch that?
I like to reach all types of people. That's my style.
Is that on social media, on Instagram, on a website? Where's it at?
It is on Facebook, Tim Story Official. And then you remember this, Story is Storey. So Tim Story Official. And, I got a little bit of feedback. I would say most of it has been positive. Probably 5% has been challenging. Like, why are you putting on some of these people that are not Christian? And the very reason for that is they're human beings. So I like to converse with humans. And so it doesn't mean I buy into what they say or don't say, but I like to converse with human beings. And that's really working. So I've been enjoying doing that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And it's so cool to be able to have a conversation with you in California. We're over here in La Marque, Texas, and just still be able to connect even during a time where traveling isn't suggested. Some people are having to travel, but we can still have this conversation and broadcast it to anybody who has the opportunity to check it out. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are going to watch it. We're going to put it on our social platform. But I'm liking you in this space, man. You're good. You've always been creative, as I said. But are you enjoying doing the radio side of things?
I have a blast with it. So it's a continual learning process is what I have found. Whenever I started doing this, I had no idea what I was doing. And now I still kind of don't have any idea what I'm doing, but I have fun. That's what I like to do, create and have fun. So it's really cool to be able to connect with local businesses and just individuals every day. And no day is the same, and you just kind of have to make your way, through the space.
But as you know, there's three main ways that you learn. One is education, second is conversation, and the third is observation. And so education, I love. If I don't know about something, I love to study it. The conversation, though, man, conversation can change your life. And even I like to roll into your guys' area just to talk to Pastor Hallam, just because he's a bright man. And I learned so much in the conversations with him. But education, conversation, observation, it's what we watch, what we view, what we see. And I feel like in the midst of COVID-19, a lot of people have had to re-educate. But these conversations are very, very important that we're having like we are today.
Yeah, it's been a shift. It's been a shift in the way people think, the way churches think, and businesses think. You talk to a lot of people. What are some things that you have been getting and hearing from them as far as like the shift that they've had to make, whether to be successful in church, business, just living, mental health and everything else?
I think one of the things is that we have to realize that some things are meant to change. And I remember when my sisters, they had 8-track tapes. Mm-hmm. That's how you doggone listen to music. Mm-hmm. And before that, it was albums, okay? And then it went to these things called CDs. And before that, it was tapes. So I feel like this is what's happening like right before my eyes, is that life is shifting. So I'm not looking to go back to normal. I think normal has shifted, and I'm okay with that. I think that we are creative beings. And so, in the midst of this crisis, I believe that God is giving us a lot of creativity. And the whole thing about God is he makes a way where there was no way. So here we go. Let's
Yeah.
make a way where there was no way. It's like we just talked about, prior to getting on the show, that with your guys' church, you guys are meeting in the building, but your online campus has grown.
Mm-hmm.
And because you made a way where there was no way. So let's get on to be creative. Let's do some amazing things, and let's keep influencing this thing called the planet.
Can we talk comebacks? I look behind you and I can see there's a couple books right there, and the first one I see is Come Back
Yeah.
and Beyond, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you're one of the things that you have focused on is people having setbacks and it being a setup. Can you speak some encouragement, or there's a lot of people who maybe need a comeback right now?
Yeah, I think one of the things that happens is in life is that we all have what I call life interruptions. And your life can just be going, and whether it's going great or just going okay. And you could have a life interruption. It could be a car accident, it could be an illness, it could be a challenge in a relationship. You have a life interruption. And an interruption is like a knock at the door that most times you're not really looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I have found is that when most people have a life interruption, they don't have the necessary skills, tools, or attitude to work through that. So you're just flowing in life, and then like an interruption hits.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, do you have the skills to handle this? Do you have the tools? And do you have the attitude? And so that's why I think that it's so important that we partner with power. And that even for my own life, I've never been ashamed to say that I have a therapist. I've had a therapist for 22 years. Over 22 years, I've had 3 different ones. And do I usually feel like I need a therapist? No. I just do it for checks and balances because I like to bounce things off somebody. And so I think the skills, the tools, and the attitude are so important in helping you have a comeback. Now, because if you do not have the right skills, tools, or attitude, you're going to sit in your setback and you're going to settle in your setback. And you know this as well as me. If you go back to your buddies back in high school, a lot of them are still living in what I call the land of okay. Like, how's your life? Okay. How are things? Okay. And so, yeah, it's time for your comeback.
All right. Yeah. Okay. That can also be like a season. I feel like, hey, it's okay, or things are going to be okay. But,
Yes.
just keep moving, keep moving forward and strive for something better. There's people that are hanging out and watching on social media. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to smash the share button. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm talking to Tim Storey, public speaker, author, life coach, coming to us from California today. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. But Tim, it's really cool to be able to talk to you from all over. You're hanging out in California, but you just had Grant Cardone on. I saw you had Elena Cardone on as well on your Sunday night program.
I came up through the church. I was raised in the church since I was 4. I went to a Christian university, but I've always loved reaching out to all types of people. As you know, because you're familiar with my story, I was a young guy, and I started a Hollywood Bible study, and that just, took off and exploded. And it gave me access to people that most people that are Christians don't have access to. And I would say that access has 10x'd even in the last 2 years. And I think there's just a real hunger for spirituality. And, a lot of times they are going for other types of spirituality because they've never really had Christianity explained to them in a way where they understand it. And so I feel like that's my position. One of my positions in life is to be a bridge to the quote unquote secular world. So yeah, I get to be around the best of the best in all these things that we do. As you said, 10X. I mean, we had Kevin Hart, who's super cool, Magic Johnson, John Travolta, uh, Floyd, is it Mayweather?
Mayweather.
The boxer.
Mm-hmm.
We had him, and then I spoke. So I broke the record. I've spoken 3 out of the 4 10X conferences. We had 12,800 people there. But just right before that, I had 32,000 people in Las Vegas at another convention. But again, not ashamed of my stance in God. And at that one with the big conference, 32,000, I spoke on the miracle mentality. So I don't shy away from the God that really did change me and my family.
Yeah. Do sometimes those people ask you like, hey, try not to talk too much about this topic, or let's keep it in this lane?
100%. And the reason for that is they feel like so many of the religious people have been so religious that they're just like, hey, Tim, we know you're not like so judgmental as some of your buddies, but if you could just kind of like keep it more in the secular lane. And I'm okay, because what happens is that what's in your spirit's going to jump out anyway. So it's not always the verbiage, it's the tone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that anybody that's anointed, we walk in and we set the tone.
I agree. And speaking of setting the tone, Pastor Allen just walked by the radio booth and gave me a thumbs up as he's watching on his phone. So he also had wanted to tell you hi as well.
I love the whole family over there. I mean, obviously I'm close to the girls and to your wife.
Josh said to tell you hi too, because he was like,
kids.
"Hey, yeah, hey, I have a new son now. He's like 2 months old. So we had a baby boy, Luca, and so he's excited to meet you whenever you're able to come back."
Yes, I was hearing about this through some people. So congratulations on that. But I'm loving what you guys are doing as a movement there with the church in Lamarck, but also reaches out to so many people around the world, even what you guys are doing as far as helping people that are orphans, and what you're doing in radio, broadcast, everything. And the cool thing is that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And then the thing I've always known about you is you're an artist, and your art will always find its way to express itself. And so I remember when you first got up there during the praise and worship, I'm like, whoa, look at him. He's up there playing now.
Yeah.
So, you went from that to this, to boom, to bam, to bam. But, God is leading you into some beautiful places. So I'm proud of you, just so you know that.
Thank you. And it's been really cool to watch, your ministry continue to go forward. And then just as you've always been connected to a ton of people. And if you said the names, everybody would know exactly who they are. But it's not like nothing has slowed down. It's just kind of it's always been a season to season and just level to level. How do you maintain that for so long?
I think part of it is like the last 3 years, I have more peace than I've ever had in my entire life. And part of that is just kind of accepting my own message. My own message was always like, you may not be what you want to be, but thank God you're not what you used to be. And understanding my struggle, the reality of the fact of, 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment in Compton when we first started, to think that I have been able to be used by God to help so many people that most people can't get to. I think I kind of came to the conclusion of, Tim, don't be so doggone hard on yourself. Just take a deep breath and just be open to the assignments God has for you. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm doing a new project with Randy Jackson, formerly of American Idol. We're doing a cartoon together. And we're doing a really cool cartoon.
Can you share? Yeah, what is it on? What's it on? Can you share?
Yeah, it's about dogs.
Okay.
It's about dogs and has to do with dogs and music. And so that's getting picked up. Our other show got picked up, the one we used to talk about behind the scenes with me and Yolanda Adams. That got picked up by BET, the cooking show. And so we're just going to see what's going to happen now because of COVID-19. Everything's been pushed back. And then doing a really cool project with Oprah Winfrey's executive producer of 23 years. We're working on a project called Getting It Right with Tim Storey, where I'm bringing in all these celebrities. And the whole idea is getting it right. That's a deal that we're doing with AMC Theaters. Then doing some projects with Scott Budnick, who did the Hangover movies. And he did the movie also, Just Mercy, with the great actor, what's his name? Give it to me, Jamie Foxx. So yeah, I mean, come on.
I know.
So
is there one you're fun? Like, is there one project that you're the most excited for?
Yeah, talking to you right now. No, for real, man. Yeah. I'm so in the moment. I'm just like right here. Yeah, because in my younger days, I used to get real hyped over things of like, oh my gosh, I get to do that conference, or I get to be with this guy or that guy. And, at this stage of life, and it's not because of age, it's just because of maturity. I'm in the moment, man. I'm totally in the moment. So right now I'm talking to you, a brilliant young guy, and we're talking to people and telling them, hey, you may not be what you want to be, but thank God you're not what you used to be. Stay in your zone. Know that Ephesians 2:10 is real. You are a work of art created in Christ Jesus to do amazing works. And so that's where I'm coming from in life. I'm playing my little part, and let's see what happens.
All right. I know we're just about out of time. Is there a way that people can follow you on social media, and so they can check out those Sunday conversations and up to date on all the projects you have going on?
Yeah, if you just go to Tim Storey Official on Instagram. So Tim Storey Official on Instagram. And it talks about, we do some cool things. I do the World Shakers Network, where you could talk to me live every Monday. I do this thing. It only costs $19 a month. Why so inexpensive? Because I like people. And I bring in some of the greatest minds in the world, male and female, once a month to dialogue. But it's every single Monday night, World Shakers Network. And then you can find out all about these projects that we're doing.
Thank you for hanging out today, Tim. I appreciate you.
What a privilege.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.